All right, our next guest, we'll have to figure out this chair situation, right, La? But we have Captain Robert Wheeler and Phil Dunn, both of the Schooner Adventure, which is right here. Come on in, gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
You can push this aside. You can do whatever you want to do.
Pull up a chair, Robert.
Yeah. How are you?
Good.
Good to see you, Phil.
Nice
Hi,
to see
Phil.
Yeah.
Captain
Good to see
Wheeler?
you, Cap.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning. Doing well.
Yeah.
Beautiful day.
Yeah.
So you're going to win that race? You're going to take home that cup?
We are going to do our best.
All right.
Right. But only time can tell.
Right.
And yep, we're pulling out all the stops. We got a few tricks up our sleeves. We're doing everything we can. You know, so.
All right. I'm sure
yeah.
a good captain
Apparently
knows how to
winning
cheat,
is
right?
that's right.
We're hoping that fur we glued on the bottom of the roseway will slow them down a little bit.
Yeah.
We've got buckets to tie on. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of late night
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
Well, what does it take actually to prepare for this weekend and the race?
Well, it started this spring, getting the boat ready and shipyard, and where we inspected, we got some new planks on, maintaining the boat and then rigging it up and sailing her. We've been sailing her a lot this summer, and it's been a successful season, I think, and so and all of that is really practice and getting the crew to meld together and work together as a team in handling the boat. She's a large boat, and you know, it takes the right weather and the right wind to make her really go. And so we work on it and think about it and try the best we can, and then, you know, and then also offer a fine product to our guests and in education sales, public sales, and the charters that we've done.
Yeah. Phil, what are the specs of the schooner?
Well, she's 121 feet long, built in 1926, excuse me. She's the last of the dory fishing schooners that still exists.
Yeah.
She's a treasure for us to have here in Gloucester. I'm a volunteer. I get to come down here every day and work on this beautiful historic treasure, help maintain her, help tell her story, help sail her. I mean, what could be better for my retirement gig?
Well, right. So how did you get involved initially? It was always an attachment to the sea? Did you have a history?
You know, this and that, but I got involved, and my wife as well, back in the 90s, early 90s, when she'd just been donated back to Gloucester in 1988 by Jim Sharp, very generous donation. His hope was that we would preserve her and tell her story, and that she would become a part of the fabric of Gloucester, the Gloucester waterfront. So we got involved in the 90s. We'd come back from overseas work, and we did a few years then. And then when she was laid up, I think in 1995, Captain, 1996, she was laid up for a rebuild that took a long time. Find the money, find the skilled people to do it.
Yeah.
And then I got back again about 5 years ago. So I took off. My wife and I raised our kids during the rebuild years.
That was a bit of a long time.
Yeah. Well, and then about 5 years ago, I came back down and started as a day volunteer, and then I got hooked. I drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And I took a full-time position and worked as a full-time deckhand for a couple of years. So it's the love of the boat. It's the love of her story, and the chance to sail her and to be part of the fabric of the Gloucester waterfront.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
So
real
her story is pretty good, right? Like, she was a Highliner?
She was.
Yeah, do you want to explain what that is?
Well, Highliner is the most productive fishing vessels, and she landed more fish in Gloucester than any other. And all of the fish, she fished with dories, so it was 2 men to a dory, and they set 6 miles of trawl. There was 14 dories aboard, and every fish was landed by hand. And then they processed the fish. She was always iced, it was always fresh fish, and then as soon as it was full, it was raced back to the port to get the fish in and get the best price. And she did that until 1953. And the only reason she stopped, they couldn't find people who wanted to work that hard anymore. The crew had an average age between 65 and 78.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And they say that the 70-year-olds wouldn't let their kids come to work on a dory fishing schooner because they knew how dangerous it was.
Wow.
And you could start now working on one of the new trawlers powered that you make more money with a little bit less danger. It's still a dangerous profession for sure.
Did they ever have any incidents where they lost crew in the adventure? Yeah.
Yes. She's lost several crews, several captains, different times, and that's part of the history and fabric of Gloucester. Gloucester has given lost more fishermen to the sea, and the tribute on the seawall is very touching, and it's still occurring. You know, it's still a dangerous profession. But there were so many hardy fishermen and really good sailors that came out of this port, and it's a great legacy, and it's a great thing to be a part of telling that story and showing how they lived and what was all involved in doing that, and keeping those traditions alive, keeping the traditions of traditional sail alive, and those skills and stuff is what we teach the crew, and trying to maintain those skills and not have it diluted by loss of atrophy and everything.
Right. So now, I'm sorry, just go ahead.
The crew is it's a blend of volunteers and paid crew. So for us volunteers, it's an incredible opportunity to work with highly skilled, experienced, talented, tall ship sailors from around the country, from different ships, and for us to train up and learn up from them and sharing that together. It's a lovely blend of volunteers. And by the way, we're always looking for more volunteers. This is very much a volunteer-driven program. And if folks want to get involved crewing, helping to maintain the boat, telling her story, they should come on down and talk to us.
Oh, very cool.
Yes.
So let's talk about that for a second. Someone happens to walk to the end of Harriet Webster Pier, they see the adventure. What sorts of things are going on there? Are there classes? Are there trips people can take? What can they do?
We do. We induct people as volunteers, and then we prepare them to help. Our focus is maintaining the vessel, and so that is what our focus is mainly. We want to preserve, and that was the charge that Jim Sharp gave to the city, was to preserve the vessel and preserve the traditions. And so they would get right involved in caring for the boat, and then learning. We've done, like everyone else, we've gone virtual. We do virtual training sessions with our volunteers. We do an education, and then there's hands-on training, hands-on maintenance, and then they come sailing and join in with the crew in sailing the vessel and gain more skill, more experience, and it just builds from that. It's a really building.
Do they live on the boat?
The crew does. Yes.
Right?
Paid crew. Some of us volunteers. I live in town here, so I can come down in the morning and have a little more creature comfort at home at night with my family. But most of the crew lives aboard down in the forecastle. It's cozy.
Yeah, I'm sure. But it's also authentic.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. There are a few more creature comforts than back in the day, but not that many. It's if you choose to do this, very long for a profession, you get used to having limited space. A lot of people around, limited privacy. You get to know each other quite well. You get to be around folks that you're closer than folks. That's the thing on shore. You have the luxury of space, and we have just the confines of the rail.
Right.
And so and that's why I say you go ashore, because it's the one chance you get to walk more than 109 feet without getting wet.
So you will be racing in the Mayor's Cup on Sunday, and there are 4 large ships.
There
racing?
are 4 large ships. The Roseway, the American Eagle, who is working their way down to Gloucester now from Rockland, Maine, and then there is Columbia, who has already arrived here before the weather that we had was a concern for a lot of the vessels. And so it should be a spirited race. It's all vessels that we know and have come in contact with and raced before, and so the best may the best boat win.
We know a lot of the crew and the captains,
great. So it
and
must
so
be
we
so
can
much fun.
we can kind of razz each other a little bit and shoot off our mouths until the results, and then then the time tells the truth.
Yes.
Do you shout at each other like in the race? Like
Oh well, I'm not afraid of shouting. Yeah.
You seem
Well,
like
now,
a yeller, Capt.
whether or not they listen
yeah.
is an entirely different story.
Yeah. So now, how much does this weekend mean to both of you?
Well, it's an incredible tribute to the waterfront and the Gloucester and the heritage of all of it. And then, so it's a great, there's 3 days. Today, we're going to have a sail to go out and greet the fleet, the boats that are arriving, due to arrive, will sail in company. And then tomorrow is the Heritage Day, which there's going to be a whole festival right here on the pier, and we'll be part of that. And then we are also going to get underway and sail tomorrow afternoon. And then the race is going to be all day. It'll start with the parade, and then the race, and then it will end up with a nice award ceremony that we'll have right here on the pier. And and it's our pier partners that really help, Maritime Gloucester, and all of the other organizations that have gone to a great deal of care and time invested in putting this together, and it's a monumental thing. We're just happy to be a small part of it.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate your time and your efforts, and it is an absolutely gorgeous vessel, and it's great seeing you again. It's been a couple of years, I'm just glad we're getting to do this again. So have a great weekend. Good luck in the race.
Yes.
And thanks for joining us.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah. And if people want to learn more about the Schooner Adventure, schooneradventure.org.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
For sure. All right, Captain Robert
Thank you
Wheeler
so much.
and volunteer Phil Dunn, thanks so much, gentlemen.
care.
Take
Yeah,
care.
enjoy the weekend.
Good luck.
This episode of Cape Ann Today is brought to you by Bank Gloucester. Start here, get there.